What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Filsinger Games Character Spotlight with Mike and Brock.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Brock, and today we have a very special tribute to one of the greatest, most prolific bootleg characters of all time. I can't even speak. I'm so excited. Akuma the Ninja.
Yep. I'd say he's the most influential character in the game.
I agree.
Bootleg or regular, he's just...
Yeah. He's up there for sure, because look at what it created.
Yep.
This card. I mean, we can't say that it's the first bootleg ever, but it's definitely, without a doubt, the first card. Bootleg on a card with artwork and stats that look identical to the Filsinger Games printed stats, the cards. Akuma the Ninja. This is his second card, I believe. Maybe third. I got this one in 1997.
I think the NGO card is second, and I think that one's his third.
This one?
Yeah, I think that's the second one.
Well, I got this one at my first con in 97.
Okay, so it might be the second one then.
Yeah, and then this one has a 2002 date on it.
Okay.
He's significantly downgraded on this one. Well, not significantly, but...
Yeah, because he's aging.
Right. It's real time, baby. But you have the first one of maybe like, what, 20, 25 copies?
Yep. Only ever made.
Of this version of the character. Let me... I hit the wrong button, of course. And this one, if you want to give a little history on this.
So on the second day of the very first Galacticon, Steve Minskoff handed out these cards to all the attendees. The art was drawn by his secretary. I don't remember her name. And he was like, yeah, he's Thantos's sidekick.
Mm-hmm.
And, like a hired gun, a bodyguard.
Yeah.
And so we're like, oh, immediately everybody was like, this guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Just to have, like, I made my own bootlegs, and so did everyone else, you know.
Yeah.
Were written out on paper. Some guys who were computer savvy, had theirs printed out on, you know, their microdot.
Yeah.
And I got this guy, and yeah, he was a hit for me. Like, it was cool just to have a ninja. Like, this is the 80s, so ninjas were, you know, we're doing awesome there.
Mm-hmm.
Ninjas.
And I really like that drawing, honestly.
It's not bad.
No, it holds up. It definitely holds up.
Now, the back, it was funny because, you know, the rules were never written down.
Mm-hmm.
And they were constantly evolving. But
right.
Steve put an out of the ring on level 2.
Yep, here it is right here on number 3.
Which was something unseen and unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
Because at this point in time, Tom had changed some of the cards himself.
Yeah.
Like choice G, I think it was a death jump. It was an out of the ring.
It was. So whenever that changed, a lot of the characters in the first 2 sets didn't have an out of the ring option.
Yeah. So like Octagon had like an out of the ring on level 1 or level 2. So like it was, you know, so it wasn't unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
And so Steve just went, oh, I'm going to put one here. And I had talked to him about it before, and he just, you know, the rules weren't set in stone.
Right.
And he was like, for back then, he was tough.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He had that massive finisher, but tough to keep down. You know, he had the 4-pin. You know, his ring was an A, his death jump was an A. It was an odd placement for his reversal on level 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, he could keep you down. He could put you down on every level. He was a solid bootleg that everyone used as soon as it got him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish I had this version of it. I might actually print one now that I have this nice picture of the back. I might print one just to have, you know, because it's pretty cool. It's such a historic piece of like Filsinger Games memorabilia too.
Yeah.
It was not made by Filsinger Games at all, but looking at this, there's no way you would know.
No, like Steve and Tom were really, were good friends.
Hmm.
And so Steve made this, and then he made a series of other bootlegs, which have become, fairly famous as well. Soy, the Decimator, Turbo,
I actually have those right here.
Slaughterhouse and Carnage, Vixen, which was Turbo's manager.
Hmm.
Um,
Let me switch back to the camera here. I could hold up some of these
he
guys.
made another guy, the Homicide. So Steve was the first guy to make. See, I loved Soy.
He was a tag partner for
Yeah.
Akuma, and this was their manager, Master Shogun.
Yep.
Nothing on the back because they didn't do that yet. We had Turbo, and his manager was Vixen, correct?
Yep.
Who did this art?
I don't know. I don't know.
It looks like AD is the signature.
And Vixen had a -7, so she was right up there with Renner Beguile.
Yeah. Purgatory.
That's what I was saying. Purgatory's a wrestler / manager.
For these guys.
Yeah. Armageddon.
Carnage and Slaughterhouse. Armageddon. Steve handed me these cards at my first Galacticon, actually. After telling me that my Comrade Terror Dreadnought tag team should never have been. Do I have Homicide here? Yes. And here is Homicide. He was kind of made to be an antagonist for Kadi the Samoan warrior, correct?
Yep. Now I teamed up Caddy and Homicide as a tag team, and I called them the Bruise Crew.
Okay.
But it's funny how that one character, Akuma, printed on cardstock, got everyone going, we can make our own guys to make them look just like the real thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what started the bootleg craze.
For sure. I definitely, when he gave me these guys, I went home that Galacticon, I'm like, I can't wait to make my own guys. And then the rest is history.
Yeah, like and that's what caused the bootleg craze, was that one character, Akuma.
Mm-hmm.
And then
there can only be one first.
Yep. He's the Highlander. There can only be one.
Right.
You can trace them all back, all the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of bootlegs that are out there.
It's true.
You can trace them all back to Akuma.
Mm-hmm.
And then Steve, he liked the idea of upgrading and updating guys. So
yeah,
I think with the help of Chad and Tim Dalton, they created that one, which was an updated Akuma. I think he had 2 finishers on that one.
This one just has one, which makes me think there might be a different version that has this art out there.
Or, oh, no, he can turn a death jump into a finisher. Is that the one? Or is that his NGO card?
That's the NGO card. That's this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's for death jump, when using rules A 11 to 12, B 10 through 12, or C 9 through 12, Akuma hits the samurai ambush. So he can hit his finisher if they roll high enough.
And the artwork on this one was Randy Bugdale.
Yes.
And that was one of the first things where you can see the border being put into use.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Busting through it.
Yeah. So it was very, and the progression, like he is aging in this.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they had Master Shogun retire, and Soy became the manager.
Yes. And then he became more of a tag team guy by the time he got to this card.
The team with Takahari Kido.
I should get him out too. I
So-
have all this stuff here.
So this one guy, Soy, this one guy, Akuma, they created a whole backstory for him, and then created, you know, managers and tag partners and aged them.
Yeah.
It became really in depth, and then he got the ultimate, you know, shot in the arm, and he was entered into GWF lore.
Officially.
Yep.
With this card, which was the giveaway for the virtual only Galacticon in 2020. So
Which
everybody,
Yeah, which I never got, even though I was there.
everybody except for Mike got, who attended.
They just didn't ship to Canada for some reason.
But this version of the card is pretty close to his GWFZ version, which is this one here.
Yeah, that's a Werner Muke.
Mm-hmm.
Meek. Werner Muke. Meek. Yeah.
Meek, I think, is how it's pronounced. But yeah, it's pretty close to this one. These two, their backs are pretty much the same. They added a Ninja Mist, where on one of his rolls on level 3 defense, you roll 1 die, 1 through 4, you play normally. 5 through 6, Akuma the Ninja hits Mist 3, add 1.
Nice.
So, but then on this version of the card, they added a disqualification to it.
Okay.
So he could get caught doing it. But the GWFZ version did not have the disqualification.
See,
Yeah, I could read. Oh, I found it real quick. Here's the manager card for
Soy.
and the new tag partner that we mentioned.
Yeah. So Takahara Kido, he's a young boy at this point, and they had ideas for him to, I think, eventually take over as the Akuma. So
That would be cool.
So it's going to be like, you know, I think they wanted it to be like Tiger Mask, where he just eventually, you know.
It's a mantle.
Yeah.
Make it happen, Chad.
If he even watches this, but hey, even they don't. But I'll put this out there now. Uncharted Territories just reached their 100th episode.
Oh, nice! Congrats to them. It's a big milestone.
It's like a 3-hour marathon. So.
Oh, nice.
But they had some really cool stuff on there, including Mark had a cassette tape where he interviewed Tom Filsinger pre-Galacticon.
That's amazing.
Pre the first Galacticon. It was like 15-year-old Mark. They just dropped him off, and his parents dropped him off at a random Greek guy's house. There, you just stay with him for a weekend.
Yeah, there you go.
How trusting were our parents? A whole lot back then.
Oh, it was a different world then. Definitely a different world then. But here's the official bio for this version of the card.
Okay.
Akuma the Ninja was a feared and mysterious warrior in feudal Japan. During his adventures, he was exploring an ancient temple of a vanquished enemy. He found and destroyed an artifact within the temple, which hurled him into the future, circa 2090. Thantos found him in a lair of rogues and mercenaries and hired him to be his bodyguard. Akuma thrived in this situation, often ambushing opponents after a match or on the way to the ring, and serving as a gatekeeper to Thantos.
So for me, here's some little fun things about Thantos. Pull up my little card.
Your Thantos card?
My Akuma card. And it's funny, I've had a lot of people comment to me, you know, that they see me holding up these cards and they're like, man, I wish I would have did that.
Yeah, because you could store them with the cards without any real problem.
This is what I store them in.
There you go.
And every 10 years I change the colors so people can.
Oh, decades.
So yeah, I have the decade. So I got blue mixed in, and soon it'll be white coming in, or like pink or white. But Akuma captured my GWF heavyweight title. He beat
Wow.
Wolf. Didn't hold on to it long.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Soy were 2-time Intergalaxian Tag Champs. And then 2-time GWF TV champion. Then when I broke my feds into 3 feds,
Mm-hmm.
he was sent to the lowest tier fed.
Okay.
That's where I kind of put all my bootlegs.
Yeah.
And he captured the CPC Heavyweight Championship. So he ended up moving up, getting enough points into the NGA, and captured the NGA Heavyweight Championship. So he's the first and only wrestler to hold all 3 heavyweight titles.
Triple Crown.
Yep, he's the first.
That's awesome.
And I had him coming in at 6 foot, 210 pounds.
He's 5'11", 237 on his GWFZ card. On his official card, he is also 5'11", 237 pounds. So you weren't too far off.
No. I'm usually more realistic on my weights.
This drawing, he looks like he's a thinner character.
Yeah.
Because he looks pretty thick in all his other cards.
Yeah, the Werner one, he looks pretty solid there.
Mm-hmm. This might be my favorite drawing for him. That or this one's just so iconic to me, though.
Yeah.
Because this is the one that everybody has.
Yep.
This is pretty iconic to me. Look how faded mine is. It shows you how much I played with it.
I was always curious on what that symbol meant.
Yeah, it's on every one of his cards, too.
Yeah. At one point, I suppose I could, I don't know, I don't even know if Steve made it up or, it's Japanese.
Knowing Steve, he probably knows exactly what it means.
I got a cousin who lived in Japan for 25 years, so I'll just take going, hey, what is this symbol?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to, if anybody knows, leave it in the comments.
Yes, please.
We'd like to know. Probably just means ninja or something like that. It's very right on the nose. Ninja.
How did he perform for you?
Very well. I used him as kind of like the bio said. He was just Thantos's right-hand man kind of guy. He didn't really hold any titles because I didn't put him in that situation. But with this reboot I keep talking about, I might have to throw this card into the mix when I get to 2090 and see how he can do there. Yeah, he did. I mean, he definitely won way more than he lost. I didn't use him as a tag team very much. I used him mainly as a singles guy because I didn't have his partner right away.
Yeah.
I didn't get him till a couple years later whenever they reprinted all the stuff from previous cons and stuff like that and made them available. So I was able to piecemeal all my sets and stuff that I was missing. But yeah, he was mainly a singles guy for me. At that time, I wasn't using I was using bootlegs, but I was kind of keeping them in separate storylines from the main storylines.
Yeah, it's kind of what I did.
And I only used like the NGO ones and the Minskoff characters. I had Death Knight 2 in there from Pete Beck, and then that SWA Invasion set. I had those
Dave
guys
Schaefer.
in there as well.
Dave Schaefer's set.
Yes. I think I have those right here too.
Yeah, we've talked about those on one of our bootleg casts.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the first year Akuma was in, I never had him feud anybody because he was, I threw him in right away.
Yeah.
But he was an odd man out.
Mm-hmm.
And I had him as the bodyguard. He accompanied Thantos to the ring, and he did the 2 outside interferences. Like this. So this is 20. I'm trying to remember what year we were in for the first Galacticon, and I think it was 2090.
That would make sense.
I can't, but I don't think managers had been around. Like we're around.
They just had the ringside ally rule then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for Thantos to have a permanent ringside ally was a big deal.
Yeah, for sure.
And I ended up, he stayed with Thanatos for about 4 years before he moved on.
Okay.
And he started, and he would feud, but he'd feud different people. Like his feuds would be separate from the, the Evil Game Masters group. I can't remember what I called it back then.
Okay.
But his feuds were separate. So he was going out and, getting his own guys. And it was funny because I based him on the White Ninja.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was funny that I did not realize, I had just seen and read about the White Ninja.
Uh-huh.
And so, Akuma the Ninja, the White Ninja. And it wasn't until like 4 or 5 months ago, I'm watching old Florida wrestling on YouTube. And I'm like, oh, the White Ninja. Okay, let's see this. Because I remember, I've always said I base personalities on wrestlers.
Yeah.
And so that was the first time I kind of sat down and watched it. And I'm like, holy crap, the White Ninja's Muda? I had no idea.
He appeared on AEW last week.
Muda, yeah, I heard.
Mm-hmm.
I almost got to do a show with him once, and I just missed it.
Bummer.
I was booked elsewhere, and I was so pumped. I was like, oh, I'm like, can somebody get me an autograph? And they're like, we're not doing autographs, Mike.
What are you, Mark?
Like, I got Liger's autograph.
But yeah, definitely, probably, no, without question, the most important bootleg card of all time.
Yeah. And
in any version of it.
And as I mentioned to you before we got on air, a friend of mine, Rob Nadon, who was at Galacticon 1, has an extra Akuma card.
Ooh.
So he's deciding on what to do with it.
He's going to give it to Brock.
Either he'll sell it or donate it. Charity auction for that Tregan, the TNT.
Nice.
So
I would imagine that would get a pretty good dollar amount. So all said and done.
It's up to him to see what he wants to do with it, but
right.
I'm bugging him about it.
You just outed him here on this show, watched by millions of people. He's going to be hounded.
For the dozens and dozens of our viewers. Barry Walsh is going to track him down.
He's going to. He's going to go right to Canada. But yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be something I might actually consider bidding on if it were to end up there.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's kind of cool because there was only like 25 of them out there, and I know guys like Paul Barnes got one, and a couple of the other, and they've lost them. So there's probably only about less than 10 of the originals still floating around.
And that was the only printing of that version too, because according to this thing Chad posted with the bio, this card came out the following year because of the rules changes that Steve wanted to correct.
Yeah.
So why won't that show up? There we go.
There you go.
So yeah, that was only a one and done printing then.
Yep. And so, there was about 25 handed out. There wasn't 25 people there, but I know Steve said he had extras.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool.
And then, the people who just stopped playing and got rid of their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So there's, probably less than 10 in existence right now.
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
I mean, this one got reprinted multiple times, I believe.
Yeah.
If I got one all the way in 97. Yeah, so here's my Akuma the Ninja card is stored with my official cards. All my other like in the NGO stuff, but all my other bootlegs are stored elsewhere, including my own. So it just goes to show you how important I think it is.
And yeah, he like I said, it's weird when we were talking about, hey, let's just do a week dedicated to the Akuma, because we do talk about bootlegs,
Hmm.
but without Akuma, I wondered how long it was going to be before somebody got around to making, and printing their own.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know who would have been the first after that,
Hmm.
but I don't think any of us even thought about doing that. I know I didn't. I made my bootlegs, but
Yeah. Well, computers weren't they weren't like a household item in 1990 either.
no.
Like the personal computer didn't really become prominent till like late 90s, early 2000s, where everybody had one.
Yep.
So like just to set this up, most people wouldn't be able to do it at that time period.
No, that's all Steve's secretary.
Hmm. She did a good job. It looks like exactly like the real thing.
So, but that's the lasting Minskoff effect. Steve
Hmm.
passed away a little over a year ago,
Hmm.
and he had a lot of influence on the game, and that was probably
Absolutely.
the biggest influences that anyone could ever have in the game.
Hmm. Like we said, there can only be one first,
Yep.
and Steve made the first, and probably the best.
Yeah.
Because even the other characters that Steve's responsible for, they all hold up. They all have an interesting story that easily fit into the GWF if you wanted to include bootlegs in your GWF. And his were seamless. They dropped right in. They fit. They weren't overpowered. They were leveled
Homicide was
well.
pretty tough.
He
I
was
think out of
tough, but
all of them,
he wasn't
Homicide's like a two-time GWF champion for me, and his reigns were like 10, 15 cards.
nice. And Armageddon's a tough tag team too, but
Yeah.
there were still many GWF guys tougher than them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of bootlegs in this time period were, how can I say this politely, not necessarily usable.
So when we talk about power creeps, the people took that to um, to a high degree with some of the
Hmm.
bootlegs. Now I'll admit some of my bootlegs were tough. I made a guy called Hire, and he was
Hmm.
kind of like a Lex Luger ripoff.
Okay.
And yeah, he was tough, but I also didn't realize, all the stuff.
Right. I'm glad now that there is a comprehensive set of rules that people are expected to follow. But looking at Homicide here, like here's his card. He's solid, but he's not like game breaking in any way. He's got the -3 power, but the 0 agility. 4-1 pin, but he's got 2 downs there. He has a C ropes rating, an A and everything else, and a 6 DQ, so he gets DQ'd a lot.
Yeah, 2 downs, then is 3 and 4 should be turnbuckle on ring, like a turnbuckle on ropes.
A choice A and choice B. Yeah. Because he's got the double out of the ring.
Yeah. And I think on level 1 he can put you down.
No, he has a choice D.
D, choice D, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's potential he could, but not very likely.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he was a solid guy for me. But
Hmm.
all that, spawned from Akuma the Ninja.
Exactly. All this stuff did. All my NDW stuff, my stream, like, like all this stuff, you know. I owe a lot of my life, like stuff I got interested in and really hooked on to these characters. It's crazy to think.
And it all spawns from Akuma.
Hmm. The best, the first, the most iconic. I'm so glad now that he has this official card.
Yeah, I wish I could have got that, but for some reason they didn't ship to Canada.
It's lost in customs somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. And our topic that we were going to talk about today is odd favorites. So, you
Okay.
know, where you'd go like, yeah, this guy's my favorite, and everybody just looks at you kind of weird. You know, like if somebody goes, Fury is one of my top 5 favorite all-time wrestlers, people
He's pretty cool.
you're gonna get some odd looks on that guy.
I think my overall favorite character, some people might think is odd, and Billy Joe Boxer,
Yeah, that's true.
because he didn't really hang around a long time or do a whole lot. He was more of a tag team guy, but I definitely pushed him.
Yeah, like out of my first 24, it's massive. Out
Hmm
of the first 24, massive.
My favorite out of the first 24, well, it's obviously Thantos, but an oddball favorite of mine from the first 24 is Vanity. I always had a fun time booking Vanity.
Yeah, if I had to pick someone other than Massive, the
Mhm.
guy who I liked and wished he could have done something, you know, that I did get behind was Kraken.
Mm. Yeah, he was a big hit in our house as well.
I just saw to me he even looked like a boxer.
Yeah, with all the lumps on his head and stuff.
Well, and he had, you know, it looked like he had, you trunks,
Yeah, he did.
like the old boxing trunks. And here's a little bit of lore. Uh, the Kraken drawing was the original Thantos drawing.
I've heard that before.
Yep. Chuck Carter drew it as Thantos, and Tom went, "No, that's not how I picture Thantos."
The Thantos from the reimagined sets is never how I pictured Thantos either. I don't know if you've seen that before,
Yep.
but it doesn't. If you didn't, because you can barely see the scar, and that's kind of like the most important feature. Because it kind of caused this whole thing to happen.
You know, one of my favorites that I've told people, Mr. Galaxy,
I was a big Mr. Galaxy fan too.
because it's funny. You know, growing up, I loved submission wrestling. You look at
Mhm.
the back of Mr. Galaxy's card. You know, out of his 18 moves, I think like 10 of them or 11 of them are submissions. The
Yeah.
guy's a submission machine,
hmm
and so that's why I liked him. And I tell people, "Oh yeah, I pushed Mr. Galaxy," and people are like, "Really?"
He was always my Rick Rude.
Oh, that's what he's. No, Tom based him on Chippendales, like a Chippendales
Hmm
guy. So that's
With the
what
little
he looks like.
the choker and stuff.
He almost didn't make listening to Mark Ashby's, interviewing Tom.
Hmm
Tom's like, yeah, I was gonna make a partner for Vanity, and they're gonna be called like, Galaxy Studs or something like that. He goes, but it's a dumb idea. So,
Stud,
at one point he was on the cutting room floor and he made it
that,
back in.
I'm glad he made it in because Stud City is one of my favorite low level tag teams for sure.
And you know, and you can get people like um Stalker. He's another guy who I really liked.
Hmm I was a big Gila fan.
Yeah, I can see people.
His original card, the green one, where he wasn't that good.
I used Gila in a tag team with an alien guy. You were Sam might have created Illustrious.
That was me.
Yeah, they're in a tag team together. They don't
Nice.
win.
I don't expect him to.
No, they're in a tag team called Alien Nation.
Cool.
And
When did he first debut? 2101. The birthday bash. Those are the green cards, I believe.
yeah, the Penthouse Punks.
Trying to think of some other odd ones that I really got behind.
Like for me, Count Necros. He's
Yeah, yeah.
I pushed that guy hard. I even got him into the Hall of Fame before people went no. They changed the voting.
That's that's dirty.
So I and I still use him. And I've said I'm not going to ever retire him. He's a real vampire.
Yeah, he shouldn't age.
Now, I updated, and I liked him so much that Tom even updated his card for me for the Galactican card.
Yeah. Which is another sought after card these days.
So it's kind of funny that, where you like a guy so much, and the owner of the company's like, okay, just for you, Mike,
we're going to do this. He's done that for a few people, I think.
Yeah. So it's kind of neat. But a lot of the guys who I kind of end up liking are lower tier guys.
Me too. Want to see them get the big win. I love the underdog. I root for him,
I made a tag team of Toxin and Mutant.
Nice.
And they were called Scary Monsters. And they captured my Milky Way tag titles.
Toxin was cool. His Jeremy Sue art was pretty awesome. I like that a lot.
Yeah. It was weird. They were an effective tag team.
Trying to think of some other. I'm like flipping through stuff here to see if anything jumps out at me. Like, oh, I really like that guy.
And then another group of guys who I used them for years. They didn't do anything. In the last probably year, they are cleaning up are the Stormtroopers, Hammer and Powerhouse. Currently in my CPC, they've captured. They were the Milky Way tag team champions because they're low level tier, but they upset that and won the heavyweight tag titles.
That's cool.
So that and it was funny because then I was just like I always had a thing for Vlad Hammer because he was the amateur wrestler.
Yeah.
Didn't like Gemini all that much.
Yeah, Gemini was lame.
But then together they were okay, and all of a sudden they're starting to rack up wins, and I'm like, hey, I'm kind of liking these guys, and they're for me turning out to be a solid mid card tag team, who they're punching above their weight right now, so it makes them it makes me like them even more.
Yeah, it is always fun whenever somebody who shouldn't be winning goes on that roll.
Yeah. But
it's really exciting.
Not just a role, but holding two separate titles.
Yeah,
at the same time role.
Like right.
I'm in shock on how well these guys are doing. So just suddenly, they've been a tag team for years, and all of a sudden, it's like they're clicking. It's like, wow, that's kind of weird.
I'm actually a Beast Rider fan. I remember at one of the Galacticons, they were recording voices for what was going to be something with the online game features. I was like, I want to be Beast Rider. And everyone's like, really? I'm like, yeah, it'd be fun to play the complete dork, like it's not a stretch for me.
Yeah, I remember when Mark was doing that, making all the recordings for the game so you could, and he's like, who do you want to be? And I'm like, Mike Fortune.
We're not that far yet.
He's like, oh, okay. Oh, no, that's who I recorded for.
It's funny.
He's like, you don't want to be anybody else? No.
Speaking of oddball characters that people might like.
There's one right there.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So it's kind of funny, but every so often you like I don't know too far ahead because I don't know all these new guys. Like people are big fans of Plethador.
Yeah.
I know him, but I've never wrestled with him because he's years ahead of me.
He's a lovable loser.
Yeah.
Been around forever now. He's an FTR now. Officially, he's aligned with my FTR character, Mayhem. The wrestling pig.
Kind of like Peter Porker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at going to buy some of those FTR sets because they look fun.
They're fun. They're good filler.
Fit into my CPC stuff.
Yeah, you could definitely fill a roster with those guys.
Yep. Find some more odd job guys that you really want to get behind.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys want to, throw your favorite oddballs down in the
Yeah,
and
I'd love to see these. This will be a good discussion starter.
Yep.
This episode.
Throw your oddballs down there, who you like. Get some discussion happening, and maybe we can chat about them
Yeah, we could revisit this topic whenever we decide on another bootleg character that's worthy of an entire episode. I have a couple in mind, but nothing will beat Akuma, who was our headliner today. And yeah, so please, leave your favorite oddball characters that you enjoy, your odd favorites. I mean, all the characters are kind of odd, but just ones that are, you really shouldn't be a big fan of. And if anybody is legitimately a Fury fan, we want to have you as a guest on the show whenever we talk about Fury. So,
100% legit, though.
Yeah, no, we'll see right through a facade.
And we're up to 92 subscribers, so we're 8 away from our goal of 100.
Oh, we'll get that by year's end.
So, if you have any friends, tell them, hey, subscribe to these two guys.
We just have to fast track to Fury, and then we'll get subscribers like crazy when we get there. We haven't even got to the Guardsman yet, have we? Yeah, we did. We did the Guardsman already.
Yeah, we did the Guardsman. Talked about how everybody just looked the other way at the slavery.
Huh? Yes.
As a slave? Oh, well.
They don't let him eat solid food?
He has to drink out of a straw? That's kind of horrible. But he's a slave? Oh,
well. Some parts of the galaxy just need to wake up.
Yep.
And on that note,
keep your eye out for the Power Creeper.
Yeah, it's
things are coming together for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to get rolling on that, actually.
Yeah, we got the artwork is now official.
Yes. Looking forward to seeing people's reaction to the card. I hope people actually use him. He's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
I want to, me personally, I want to see the reaction of his backstory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I thought that was a cool backstory I came up with.
Yeah, he's going to be fun.
I think it'll be interesting.
We should do that as a Christmas card to our subscribers.
Creeper with a Christmas hat on.
Yeah. We can come up with something else for that. I just got an idea. We'll see what happens if anything develops. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. If you have not yet, please click that subscribe button. Help us reach 100 by year's end. That is our goal. Also, like this video if you enjoyed what you had heard just now. Even if you didn't like it, just hit the button. It doesn't hurt anything. And please check out all the links below in the description. We've got a few podcasts listed there, including the official Filsinger Games podcast, Roll Up, the Legends team's Uncharted Territory, Dizzy Dice from Lee Longpre. We've got some YouTube links, including a solo promoter from Grant, Dave Little's Heartland Wrestling Federation, which he streams live on Saturdays, I believe, around 6 o'clock. I'm sorry if I don't have the exact time. Check that out. He posts on the Facebook group when he's going live, too, so you can see that there. My Twitch channel is listed there. There's a few other things. Please just check it out. And again, if you have something that you'd like us to include, please let us know.
Our friend Lee Longpre, he's trying to get up there too. He does the news for the game. Yeah. And we doubled his subscriber output in 1 week.
Nice. Like I keep saying, he's consistent.
Yep.
And that's something to be admired in today's world. So yeah, thanks everybody. We will see you next week as we talk about a couple guys we completely forgot from the Invasion 2091 set.
Yep.
Yep. We'll see if you know who they are. Leave the comment below if you remember, if you know which two characters we completely skipped from the set Invasion 2091. Because they're coming next week. All right, everybody. Thanks again. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you next time.
Good night, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah, just randomly.
It works. I want to say good night, Wisconsin, because there's a lot of promoters in Wisconsin.
There is. I play video games with a lot of guys from Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Oshkosh, to be exact.
Oshkosh Bagosh.
Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
All right, everybody. Thanks again. We'll see you.